I didn't want to make a video about Jet Franzen. I know people call him a LARPer. They say he's lying about things, and that might be true. He did for sure try to downplay how much money he was making. That I know for sure. Dude was trying to act like he's not making that much money when he was getting over 1 million views per week.
People are like, no, this guy makes a bunch of money. He's lying. He makes a bunch of money. It's like, dude, this is literally the room that I live in.
Money talks, bro.
This is where I live. It's in Nebraska. It's like if I was making money, I would not be living in Nebraska.
Money talks, bro.
Business as usual.
Look at these whips, bro.
I literally don't own anything nice.
I'm in the YouTube game, so I know how it is. I can pretty accurately estimate his earnings based off his view count and the average video length and the style of content. Okay, so from April 2026 to June 2026, when he was averaging about 4 million views per month with an average video length of about 14 minutes, I can safely estimate Jet Franzen was earning about $12,000 per month.
Money talks, bro.
That's based on an estimate of $3 per thousand views. It could be a lot higher than that, but it's safe to say it was at least that much. Definitely, there is no way possible that he earned any less than $10,000 a month over the last 3 months.
I literally don't own anything nice.
But I don't really care if he's lying about things. And I don't really care if he's trying to grift the doomer community, or whatever people are saying. Honestly, I just don't really care. My bigger problem with Jet Franzen is just the fact that he constantly posts pseudo-intellectual slop, and then he says he's making philosophy content. I guess the cringe TikTok thirst trap videos weren't really pulling in the views, so he had to pivot. By the way, I'm pretty sure he's using some kind of face filter in some of these, but whatever. He's a cringy Zoomer that wants to be famous. He's tried out a few different styles of content along the way. That's fine. He's young. I don't hold it against him. But recently, my man Jet Franzen put out a video called How to Pull Women If You're Chopped. And now we have a problem, because this is some of the absolute worst dating advice I have ever seen. So let's get into it.
I've had many people that I've known in my life who are by no means like models or really even close to being attractive, but I've still seen them do pretty well in the dating market.
Okay, right here, this statement he just made is useless. He's saying he knows ugly guys that have done well with the ladies. Now that could be true, but what's more likely, if he isn't just outright lying, what's more likely is he's just underrating these guys' looks. Men that are legitimately chopped are not having success with women. Okay, it's just not happening.
The number one thing is that girls are attracted to someone who is sure of themselves, not in like the cocky, off-putting way, but more in the confident, oh, I know what I'm doing type of way. They like a guy that leads.
Just be more confident, bro. I can't believe he really just said that. He's actually giving the meme advice that we all make fun of all the time. But he's being serious. He's seriously trying to say, you just gotta be confident. Look, Jet, here's the problem with that advice. I agree that women prefer confident men. Women are attracted to men that lead, but you're forgetting the most important part. Women are attracted to confident men that they already find attractive. Okay, confidence is an attraction booster. But if the instant physical attraction is not there, then there's nothing to boost. It's like trying to multiply a large number by 0. What's the result? Still 0. If you are legitimately chopped, okay, as a man, if you are sub 5, if you are below average, first of all, it's pretty much impossible to have confidence when you're unattractive, but I'll expand on that later. But let's just assume an ugly guy is able to act with genuine confidence. Well, confidence, when it is displayed by an unattractive man, that's not attractive to women. It's offensive. They get offended when a man that they see as being beneath them tries to act like a leader or tries to act like he's on her level. They're offended by a chopped man with confidence. It's not attractive. They find it viscerally disgusting. Think about it, Jet. Okay, you as a hotshot YouTuber, or I guess I should say as a former hotshot YouTuber that was getting over 1 million views per week. I mean, even now, you're still doing pretty good. Okay, what would you think if someone approached you in public and they were confidently giving you advice on how to grow your channel and get more views and everything, but then you see their channel and they only have like 400 subscribers? Would you take that person seriously just because they seem to believe what they were saying? Or would you think, this person's an idiot? They don't know what they're talking about. Obviously, you would not take that person seriously. Okay, so listen, that is exactly what women are thinking when a legitimately unattractive man tries to act confident. It doesn't trick them into thinking like, oh, well, he must have a reason to be so confident. Oh my God, I'm so intrigued. I'm so attracted to his confidence. That's not how it works. When a sub-5 man acts confident, women still think he's ugly. They're still not attracted to him. It's actually worse because now it's like, oh shit, this chopped loser thinks he has a chance with me. Ugh, now I gotta deal with this. I mean, this is day one stuff. The advice of just to be confident has been thoroughly debunked so many times. I mean, what's he gonna say next? Just fake it till you make it?
The key here is you don't actually need to know what you're doing. You just pretend to know what you were doing.
Oh, well, there it is. Just fake it till you make it, bro. It's so frustrating every time I hear this bullshit, as if it's even possible to convincingly fake being confident. You're either confident or you're not. And the way you get more confident is by actually knowing that you actually have options. If you don't actually have options because you're chopped, then you're not going to be confident. I mean, maybe you could be if you're just delusional, but you can't just make yourself delusional either, which I guess is kind of the idea behind faking it till you make it. But no, you can't just act confident if you're not actually confident. That will never be convincing. And I just want to make sure I really nail this point home because it is important. Confidence comes from knowing that you have options or knowing that you are good at something. That's what makes a person confident in something. I mean, that is what confidence is. It's the self-assuredness you get from having the belief that you are good at something. Or in the context of dating and attraction, confidence is the self-assuredness you get from knowing that you have options, knowing that a lot of women find you attractive, so not getting with any one particular woman, it's not a big deal because there's plenty of other women out there you can get with. That's what confidence is. And if you don't actually have that belief in yourself, you can't just pretend that you do. Like, it just doesn't work. There's so many subtleties to body language and how people say things and just hesitation. You know, that's a big one you really cannot fake convincingly. Even if you say all the same words that a confident man would say, you're not going to say those words the same way. And you will inevitably hesitate in your actions if you don't actually have confidence. The confident man doesn't hesitate. There's no hesitation because he doesn't have to actively think about what he's doing. He is actually confident, so he just acts naturally without hesitation. If you're just faking it, then you will have to actively think about what you're doing and what you're saying. So there's going to be some hesitation there, and everybody can see that.
The thing is, you never want to basically express in any way, whether it's through body language or literal verbal communication, that you don't feel comfortable in a situation, because this subconsciously turns the girl off like every time.
Exactly. I agree with that. But that's why it's not possible to just be confident. If you don't actually have the confidence, then you will for sure reveal your lack of confidence through body language, the way you talk, the way you hesitate, etc. Maybe if the girl you're going out with is a quirked up autistic shouty that is mentally disabled in her abilities to assess facial expressions and everything, then, maybe in that case you could convincingly fake confidence. But even then, I doubt it. But this shit is irrelevant anyways. He's supposed to be giving advice for how to pull women if you're chopped. That's what the title of the video is. Confidence isn't going to help at all if you're ugly. So why are we even talking about this?
Dude, girls want to chase, not to be chased. They tell themselves they want to be chased, and in the media, they'll say that, but those are the guys that they don't respect. Really, they want the guy that doesn't really care about them.
Oh, girls want to chase, not to be chased? My man, I promise you, girls do not want to chase ugly dudes, no matter how confident they are. And they don't want to be chased by ugly guys, obviously. That's a nightmare for the average woman. But I get what he's saying with the whole girls like guys that don't really care about them. There is some truth to that, but that's just a byproduct of having lots of options. The only way a man without options can convincingly not care whether he gets the girl or not is if the girl in question is really ugly. Otherwise, as an unattractive man, anytime you do feel like a woman's giving you a chance, you can't help but care about it. Obviously, you get an extremely rare opportunity to maybe actually acquire the main thing you're missing in your life: love, human connection. It's impossible to not care whether you get the girl or not. And you're never going to convince me that's something you can fake either. But ultimately, this advice is just missing the point. Women are perfectly fine with being chased by a man they find physically attractive. But it's mostly irrelevant anyways because attractive men don't have to chase. Chasing is something that only happens if the woman isn't interested from the start. That's why chasing a chick typically doesn't work, because she's just not attracted to the guy that's chasing. If she was attracted to him, there'd be no reason to chase. I mean, I guess there are times where a woman will put up some fake resistance, like she'll tell a guy like, "Oh, I can't give you my number, I have a boyfriend," or something like that, when really she is attracted to the guy. So in that case, an attractive man might successfully chase the girl in the sense that he'll have to deal with some resistance, but that's not really even chasing, because the woman in that case wants to get caught. Her resistance is just for the sake of plausible deniability.
Once you tell a girl that you are interested in them and it becomes clear that they're kind of like your only option, if you express that, whether deliberately or sort of imply it, they're not going to be interested in you. So you have to cover your deck, never show the other person, never give a hint that you might not have the best cards. You just have to pretend like you have options, even if you don't.
This is basically the whole abundance mindset thing. He's saying, you just got to have the abundance mindset, bro. It's pretty much the same as what I said about confidence. You can't fake the abundance mindset. If you don't have an abundance of options, it'll show. Especially considering, again, remember, this is supposed to be advice for how to pull women if you're chopped. I don't care how good an actor you are, if you are a chopped man, no woman on this planet is going to believe that you have options. Also, they won't give a hoot anyways, because if you're ugly, then women aren't going to be attracted to you. Period. The only way you can get with women as an ugly guy is to go for the ugliest women you can find. And even then, you're gonna have to accept the fact that your girl's not actually attracted to you. She's just with you for some other factor, such as convenience or money.
One thing you never ever want to do is be what I call the bitch of the friend group, the person that's on the outside circle that's trying to get in. What this does is it shows everyone else that it's like, wow, that guy's desperate. The way that you counter this is make yourself scarce. You can't always fold the first time someone gives an invite.
Okay, so if you can't tell, at this part he was talking about social proof and how to be cool within a friend group, how to be respected by your male peers and all that. I get what he's saying to some degree, Like, it is true that if you act desperate and you're just always trying to tag along even when you're not invited, things like that, yeah, nobody likes that. But one thing he said was so catastrophically moronic, I just got to correct the record.
Make yourself scarce. You can't always fold the first time someone gives an invite.
No, that's a good way to stop getting invited to things. You're not doing yourself any favors by rejecting invites from your friends. Especially as an ugly man, friendship isn't always easy to come by. I'm not saying you can never decline a single invite, but you sure as hell should not intentionally decline invites just to try to play some kind of feminine mind games with your friends. You fucking sociopath. Are you trying to manipulate your friends? My man, nobody wants fake friends. And again, as a so-called chopped man, it's not easy to make friends. I'm actually getting pissed off right now that advice was so bad. It's actually harmful advice. Listen, if someone invites you to hang out or go to a party or whatever, you already got the invite at that point. You're not going to look desperate for accepting an invitation to go to your buddy's house to watch a game. At the point where someone is inviting you to hang out, they want you to accept. Rejecting their invite just to try to trick them into thinking you're cooler than they are, that's just a dick move, first of all. And all it's going to do is make that person more hesitant to invite you to things in the future. And you shouldn't be trying to play mind games with your boys like that in the first place. If you're lucky enough to have a friend group, something that I always wished I did have, if you're in such a fortunate position that you have a group of friends, then you should just be real with your friends. I'm not saying you should necessarily tell all your friends all your most embarrassing secrets, but at the very least, you shouldn't be playing mind games. You shouldn't be rejecting invites just so you look extra popular, like you're just so busy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't do that.
You need to have what I'll just call an X factor. Have something different about you. Be the one that's really funny. Be the person that's really good at a sport. Be the person that, for some reason, knows a lot about history. Like, you have to have something different about you that differentiates you from the rest of the pack.
Just get some hobbies, bro. I mean, he really is just hitting all the classics. I like how he started the video saying he wasn't going to be giving obvious advice. Then literally all of his advice is the same tired tropes we've all heard 1,000 times.
And I'm not going to give you some BS Captain Obvious advice.
But I will say there is some truth to the whole X Factor thing. Like, if you're so good at a certain sport that you could go pro, then okay, yeah, that talent is going to allow you to achieve a level of status that will probably help you attract women. But here's the thing. It only works if you're really, really good at your hobby. And also, it does have to be something that is considered cool. Pro skateboarder, that's cool. If you're so good at skateboarding that you could do it professionally, then that would probably help you attract women. But being really good at, I love how one of the examples of an X factor he gave was being the guy that knows a lot about history. Okay, nobody gives a shit about your knowledge of history. The only way that hobby is going to help attract women is if you have a YouTube channel about history with 300,000 subscribers and you're making a lot of money from it. Just being knowledgeable about history is not going to help you with women if you're ugly. Now, if you're good looking, then maybe your history knowledge might be a bonus. It might amplify your attractiveness, but it's not going to do shit if you're chopped.
And what's very important is you don't want to make this thing your identity. You don't want to post about this on your social media all that much, if at all. You want it to be kind of like a thing on the side because it shows women that it's like, hey, I have this cool thing, but I don't feel the need. I'm not insecure. I don't feel the need to tell everyone that I'm really good at playing the clarinet or whatever.
I love this advice of, yeah, you need to be really good at something. You need to have an X factor, but don't tell anybody. Don't post about it on social media. Just let chicks figure it out for themselves. My man, if we're supposed to be using this X factor to attract women, then how the hell is that supposed to work if no woman knows about it? Fellas, please do not take Jet Franzen seriously. He's so full of shit, he doesn't even know what he's saying. If you have hobbies, especially if you do have something that you are really good at, say you're really good at guitar, you can post about that on social media. You could even, I don't know, go out wearing a Fender t-shirt or something like that. You know, if you're actually at the level of talent where it's something that legitimately might attract women despite your choptedness, then you probably shouldn't keep it a secret. I get the point of not making one thing your whole personality, but look, if you're an ugly man and this one talent you have is the one thing that might actually help you attract women, then maybe you should try to make it known that you have that talent. Because honestly, even if you are almost elite level at something, even that is probably not enough to attract most women if you are legitimately ugly. So you do need to make it known to as many women as possible that you have that talent, if you actually want to use that to your advantage.
And that brings me to my next point. Anything that you are good at, even if you work really, really hard at that specific thing, like if you started a business and that business becomes successful, you start making money, do not make it seem like you worked really hard to get that thing. This sounds so stupid, and I hate the fact that this is true, but you want to make things seem as natural as possible because that is what people equate with higher value.
Nope. Wrong. Women don't care how hard you worked to achieve your success. All that matters is the end result. It is true that women are not attracted to hard work. They're not attracted to how much effort you put in. But it's also true that they don't care how easy it was for you. It just doesn't matter. The amount of effort it took you to achieve something is just completely irrelevant in both directions.
And that's another thing. Girls are subconsciously analyzing your potential, you know?
Wrong. Women only care about where you are right now. They only care about your current status, your current looks, your current wealth. Your potential does not matter. And even if it did, women are not very good at assessing these things. If you're ugly, which remember, this is advice on how to pull women if you're chopped. If you're unattractive, then most women are going to underrate your potential. And if you're good looking, then women will overrate your potential. It's the halo effect. Nothing you say or, acting all nonchalant like, yeah, I didn't even have to try to get this 6-figure job. I didn't have to work too hard to get this 6-pack. I'm just genetically like this. Women don't care. They assess your potential based on how good looking your face is.
Something huge that's going to carry a long way is learning how to talk to people. If you can actively listen and make it seem like you're interested in a conversation, even if you're not, this is the biggest thing when it comes to talking. Make the other person feel good about themselves and like you care about them. The people that make the topic of discussion, the person that they're talking to, always make the most friends and are always honestly the most well-liked.
Just have better social skills, bro. If you're ugly as a man, you're just going to be perceived as having poor social skills by default. That's the cold, hard truth. But even if your social skills are recognized, it's not going to help with women because a good-looking face is the best social skill a man can have, period. But look, this advice just isn't very useful. There's not a whole lot you can do to improve your social skills. I mean, yeah, if you consistently practice talking to people, you will get better at it, but it is context dependent. Getting better at dealing with customer interactions at your job or getting better at making small talk because you try talking to a lot of people for practice, that's just improving your small talk abilities. It's not going to help you much with talking to women and getting them attracted to you. And that's the main thing. Women aren't attracted to an ugly, short, bald man just because he has good social skills. If you're ugly, then you're ugly, and women will not be attracted to you. It really is that simple. It doesn't matter what you say or how good your social skills are. Now, a lack of social skills can definitely hurt your chances if you're a guy that is attractive enough to get that initial interest. But social skills really only matter if you're in that borderline attractive range. If you're ugly, then it doesn't matter because you just can't talk your way into physical attraction. That's just not possible. And it also doesn't matter for a guy that's very good looking because at that level, you can have horrible social skills and you'll still be perceived in a good light. They'll just think you're complex or mysterious or whatever. Also, I have to say, the specific advice he gives on what it means to have good social skills, he's saying you got to be a good listener, you got to make the other person feel like you care about them. Okay, the thing about that is, as an unattractive man, women do not want me to care about them. They don't want me to take an interest in them. They think it's creepy when a guy that looks like me cares about them. That is the last thing they want. So the whole social skills advice, it's just dead on arrival. I think that advice of appearing interested in the person you're talking to, that is good advice in general, but it doesn't work for chopped guys, especially when talking to women, because like I said, they don't want ugly guys to be interested in them. And I know I've said this before, but it's actually something they find offensive when an unattractive man acts interested in them. Even if not romantically, even if it's just general interest in the conversation, they don't like that, okay? Not from a man they think is ugly.
The way that you even the scoreboard, if you're chopped, is you just get up more shots because no one cares if it took you 1,000 shots to land that pretty girl. If you have that pretty girl at the end of the day, no one cares about all those failures. Dude, go out there and put up shots. Everyone has to, put up the shots, and you have to increase your opportunities simply by going out more and picking up hobbies and being confident in yourself.
It's a numbers game, bro. You just gotta put some reps in, put up some shots, put yourself out there. Look, I get the idea. Obviously, if you approach 1,000 women, you're gonna have more chances than if you only approached one woman. But for men that are truthfully unattractive, approaching 1,000 women is probably not gonna be enough. Approaching 10,000 women might not be enough. And along the way, you're just getting constantly rejected, doing damage to your already destitute self-esteem. I mean, at some point, you got to say it's just not worth it. Now, I don't think it's the worst advice in the world to tell a guy to just shoot their shot anyways. I don't think it's going to work out for guys that are actually chopped, but some of you might be better looking than you think. So, maybe you might have some luck. So I don't think that's the worst advice. But yeah, overall, horrible normie advice from Jet Franzen. I don't know if this guy is actually LARPing or making fraudulent claims about his life, and I don't really care, but his advice is retarded, and pretty much all his videos, from what I've seen, he just doesn't have anything valuable to say. If you enjoyed the video, please consider watching some of my other videos. There's also some secret videos you can watch for free on my Patreon. No sign up required, so check that out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.